In our last video we had fun chatting with Clive and Nicole. Here they are again at Porto Katsiki. Today we have a bit more of a look at Sami, Fuscado, Vathi and Sivota. Please enjoy it and like our video. Cheers! Okay then, back to the time machine. Where were we? Oh yeah, we were in Sami, shown here, having lunch with Tim, Wendy and their son Stuart. Tim is Sandra's nephew from Shrewsbury, Shropshire. Try saying that mixed up with she sells seashells, etc, etc. Well, you know what I mean. These English and their funny names.
Oh, come on. What about some of the Aussie names like Wollongong or Woy Woy?
Spike Milligan's mum used to live at Woy Woy.
You silly ass. What about your Bondi chest?
How do you mean?
It's far from manly.
Oh, you're not nice to me sometimes. In case you didn't know it, everyone, Manly is another Sydney beach suburb like Bondi, and it's a long way from Bondi. Well, anyway, I forgot to take any pickies of Tim, Wendy or Stuart, so you'll just have to take my word for it that they're fine-looking people. Sorry about that. Here you've been looking at some video of Sami. Will that do? We picked up a few passengers in Sami, Sandra's son Ross and his partner Helen. All of us were looking forward to having some real fun times together for the next week. Apparently it's always been a wish of Helen's that she wants to sleep on a boat. She gets her chance now. We spent a pleasant day or two in and around Fuscado in Kefalonia. We had a few problems with apples while we were there. First up, we'd had a persistent leak which we traced to a broken hose joint where water is pumped into the stuffing box from outside the boat. The stuffing box is the enclosed watertight seal through which the propeller shaft turns. It's like the washer in a domestic water tap, in that in this case it lubricates and keeps cool the propeller shaft and prevents water entering the boat from outside where the shaft goes through the hull. So we fixed it as well as we were able. Here you see it with silicone sealant around the broken bit and with duct tape around the sealant, all secured by cable ties. Seemed to work okay, but oddly there was still water coming in from somewhere. And the internal water pump for the galley stopped working. With a little help from Ross and a new relay, we got it going again. Thanks, Ross. we stayed a night at Freaks on the east coast of Ithaca, meeting up again with David and Maureen aboard Mojo, a Beneteau 343. It's an interesting little harbour, and I wondered why so many boats were rafted up on the other side, while we were tied stern to against the opposite wall. We found out soon enough when the wash from a ferry passing offshore came into the harbour and banged us against the wall. Not much fun. So we loosened up the stern ropes and tightened the anchor, keeping us further out, and it didn't happen again. Later we moved on to Kefalonia on the east coast of Ithaca and anchored in fairly deep water with 2 lines tied ashore to rocks. It was fairly crowded, and this was the only way we were able to tuck in anywhere. We even had a Delaware registered mega yacht anchored next to us. Well, we just finished dinner and up pops one of Greece's instant thunderstorms. The anchor immediately started dragging, and we had to cut one of the lines to prevent us being dragged onto the rocks. We immediately swung into the wind, lifted the anchor and motored into deeper water. So did the mega yacht. Not a fun night for either of us. After an hour or so, the wind died and we were able to re-anchor, but we passed the night in uneasy fashion afterwards. Sadly, we were far too preoccupied with running the boat so that we didn't get any video or even any stills of the adventure. In Kefalonia we dragged our anchor. In Vathy, further south in Ithaca, it was somebody else's turn. We sat and waited out some strong winds for several days with lots of scope out, and this time we didn't budge. Sivota is a nice little harbour situated on the south side of Lefkada. Very picturesque and very popular with boaties. Maybe a little too popular sometimes. In summer it can be very difficult getting a space on the quay and almost as difficult anchoring in the harbour. Once again, as so often happens, after 24 hours anchored in the bay, along came a catamaran and dropped his anchor right on top of ours, ignoring Sandra's pleas not to. Naturally our anchors became tangled and we were dragged 100 metres towards the entrance of the bay with our new friend banging into another boat on the way. Thanks guys, really well done. But if you do get in, the situation is very pleasant. But pick your day. And this week's Lucky Dip. No, it's not Moscow. It's St. Petersburg. Sandra and I had a stop over there years ago now, and it's a lovely place. They do look after their onion dome churches, don't they?
You're going to be pointing that camera at me.
Would I point a camera at you?
Yes, you will.
My goodness. Hey.
Oh,
Okay.
here we are.
Hang on. Bit of aerobatics there.
Here we are on a beautiful sunny day in the middle of December, sitting by the Rio Bridge.
You mean the Empyrean Bridge?
Yes, it's actually got a posh name after the Prime Minister that originally decided it. An official name, but I can't remember what it was.
Okay.
But it was actually built or completed in 2004. Donny, are moving.
Don't take any notice of me.
No, I won't. They're moving quite a bit, and the Gulf here is expanding quite rapidly as well. So
I can see the bridge getting longer.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is the expansion joints are 6 metres long.
Well, I don't know how long they are, but there we are.
Just allowing for that little bit of expansion.
And the
disagrees?
earthquakes are a big problem.
Eh?
The earthquakes are a big problem, and in fact, when they were building the bridge, they actually had an earthquake here.
And nobody was killed.
No, and